Uh-oh. Welcome back. It's the Men's Roundtable Series podcast. I'm Mr. U, the fellas in the house, fathers, brothers, husbands, sons, and warriors. What's up, guys?
What's up?
All right, let's get after it. Well, if you're watching and listening for the very, very first time, thanks for making us part of your week. We definitely appreciate that. We're here every Thursday, 7 p.m. EST. We're live on YouTube and Facebook normally. Not tonight, some technical stuff. So we'll be out there in the social media stratosphere within the next 2 hours. So my apology for not having a live out there. I hate that because it's people can't get in and do what they got to do. So hopefully,
live?
Yeah, we're not live. I'm not happy.
That's it. I'm leaving. I'm out.
So hopefully this still has some legs to it. Promote it, share it. We figure it out. All my fault on this one, I think. Technical issues, but it's mutual. But for the entire month of March, we've been getting into some really powerful stuff, and I'm excited about it because I think we uncover some things, not only about the topic that men deal with what we won't talk about and why we won't talk about it, but I think we uncover some stuff about ourselves too. I think we have some powerful learning lessons personally. I'm hearing from some of you guys about what you've been experiencing and how you've been growing through this. And guess what? It's been really powerful stuff, man. So thank you for sharing, for those of you that shared. And what do you guys thought about what you've experienced so far this month? What are you feeling? What are you seeing? Any breakthroughs that happened throughout the course of this month so far? Talk about that a little bit if you can.
Yeah, I'll jump on that real quick because there's something that comes to mind immediately for me. We had it seemed like a goofy question on the outset, about, like who raised you or, that type of thing, influences in your life. And almost sort of on accident, we all ended up revealing that a lot of us were sort of raised by TV and, like fathers on television and like, the movies and stuff, you know what I mean? I thought I was the only one who thought that like Rocky was his father figure. Like that's where I learned 90% of my stuff was from Stallone and his character, and then we started getting into like Cliff Huxtable and all these other guys. And I'm like, man, I'm not the only one who grew up this odd way of, we're not getting taught this stuff in real life because of whatever broken home thing we're dealing with. And so, hey, there were movies, there was television, there was, writing and stuff like that made a difference for us. I just thought that was a big watershed moment. I think I talked to my wife about that for like a couple of hours after that because it just completely hit me out of nowhere, Well, she's always known this about me. She's like, really? Other people, type of thing, because she's always known that about me. Dude, my wife knows everything about me, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And there's a lot of ugly. But, seriously, she knew that already. And when I told her what had happened, she was like, man, that's crazy. But we talked about it a lot. I thought that was a big thing for me, big watershed moment.
Yeah. What's interesting what's really interesting about that to me is I had a really engaged father. I was super blessed because I had a dad who was there my whole life. My father passed away 15 feet down the hall. Like his final year in my home. Yeah. He was there my whole life, but my mom and dad, they lived with us the last couple of years of my dad's life. And he died in the bedroom down the hall where my mom sleeps right now. And so like we were super tight knit. I love my dad. He was amazing. He was always had my back in the darkest times of my life when I would let him, and he would give me space the rest of the time too, right? He let me make my own mistakes. But the thing that really hits me about the idea is as much as my dad was super present, the impact and the shaping that movie and television men had on my life was massive still, even with a very engaged and active father. Like there is so much of like my life I can chase back to Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Bruce Willis. Like, my dad was a big guy. He was like 6'5", 350 pounds. My dad was a big dude. But he was a very gentle soul. My father was a pastor. He was a very gentle man, very in touch with his emotions. Like I saw him cry regularly with things that touched him. Like my dad was very secure in his masculinity and who he was. The more turbo masculine stuff I picked up along the way was all from growing up watching the classic 80s and 90s action heroes. Dude, I had a like party when the Expendables came out because that was just my childhood, right?
Yeah,
But
that
like,
was good, man. These are the first two, anyways.
yeah, I got a poster, with John Wayne, right? Because the dude,
Goodness.
that taught everything you need to know about being a man.
Yeah,
But
the dude.
even with a very engaged father, that still shaped my life in massive ways.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same, man. Parents were there, we kind of talked about this, but man, there was just something about the Fresh Prince. It was just something, you just wanted to be him, right? But you know what really over the course of this series, I always talk to people about, okay, we can relate, right? Everyone has these types of problems, but I think it's caused me to really reflect and ask questions that I otherwise would not have even asked myself as we've gone through this, right? And it's caused me to reflect a lot more, to do a little bit more analysis, and honestly kind of inspired me to lean in, to dig a little bit deeper. I mean, I work in a field where I help grow and form and develop people, right? People that are broken and men, mostly men, right? And so
Yeah.
it's really helped even in that aspect, man. Like it's given me tools to bring back. So I also want to express gratitude to each of you guys, man. Everything that you've brought to the table here. And for those who aren't on here tonight, who've been here, everything that you guys bring, man, like you're helping me to equip other people as well, right? That I'm doing personally and probably wouldn't be able to do that. But I can as a result of what you guys contribute here. So hats off.
Yeah, man. I definitely concur with all of those. The TV part, I'll be honest with you, when I shared that, I'm like, I didn't feel super comfortable with that. I'm like, wait a minute. This makes somebody look bad. Either it's my mom or me or both of us. I'm like, TV. Because nowadays people are letting TV raise their kids, and man, it's having disastrous results. Mm-hmm. If it's not TV, it's video games. Again, disastrous results. So even sharing that, I was super transparent by even saying that out of my mouth out loud, where it's flowing out here for who knows how forever. It's out here. I said it out loud. TV shaped my view of fatherhood. Wow. Even thinking back on it, I'm like, I'm still kind of like, ooh, I can't take it back now. The die has been cast. But it's just, it says a lot, though. It says a lot about the opportunities that we had and how real and how universal it is for people to not have fathers in their life, whether they were in the house or not. The people who have fathers in the house and they don't even know their middle name. This is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? So this show is helping us grow in a whole lot of ways. I'm so grateful for you guys and for you guys that are a part of this and going to be a part of this. It means so much. I wish Chap could hear this now to see this comment about Uncle Phil, because I know if he see that, that's just a trigger for him. Dude be texting me at 3 o'clock in the morning, a.m., not p.m., a.m., talking about, why am I so hard on Carl Winslow? I'm like, I got nothing against no Carl Winslow. He was a TV character. He wasn't a real person. I got up at 4 o'clock to pray, and I see that, Carl Winslow. And I got a question about how I didn't think about this man, but he was in the wee hours of the morning. I impacted him that much. I'm talking about his favorite TV dad. I'm like, oh man. But it just goes to show you how far this thing stretches and reaches. And everybody is really impacted by this. So it's a big deal. But I love this topic that we started. I don't know where we're going in April, man, but this was just so good, man, because we talked about so many things and we don't say and don't talk about so many things. I want to ask you guys, this is probably a tough question from the outset, but it kind of just is what we do. We've been talking a lot about settling and breaking through. Can you guys find an area in your life where you feel like you've settled, where you should be breaking through? Because I believe that people who are watching and listening to this is the kind of real stuff that kind of makes a difference in their life. And they're like, you know what? I can't hide in these little circles that I hide. And these guys are out here from all different parts of the country talking about real stuff that I deal with. And I might not have that kind of community. I might not have that kind of outlet. Is there an area in your life where you feel like you settled, or you should be breaking through? Anybody can jump in, popcorn style. Go ahead.
I don't.
Everybody's laughing, but nobody's talking.
I'm at a phase of my life where I don't think I'm in that settle moment. Trying to look back and recall a moment. Right, it's what I'm digging for right now. But I'm in a push season of my life where we're just all in, pushing hard, gunning hard. There is no rest. The stress is high. The frustrations are high.
It's called progress.
Cost and the possible negative impact is very high right now. We're in a very forward movement part right now. Okay. So I'm trying to dig back to settling, but right now I'm a kind of an all or nothing person. And if it's nothing, I just walk away from it. Otherwise, I have one speed, and that's just like head first. Like I don't have a safe middle speed. I just like I'm either all in or I'm not.
All gas and no brakes, huh?
Uh-huh.
How does the missus handle that kind of approach to the head down, all gas, no brakes? I love to hear that. She can come on the air, and that's fine. But I love to hear that from your perspective, about her perspective, how she feels about that.
There are definitely days it certainly brings stress into our life. I'm not going to lie. Okay. I am blessed in the fact that I am walking in the shadow of the fact that my father-in-law was an entrepreneur before it was cool to be an entrepreneur. My father-in-law had multiple businesses. Like my wife lived in literally a little cabin with no water and electricity when she was a kid on her grandfather's farm at one point because they had lost everything. So my wife had already been through this whole entrepreneurship gambit that, you know, we share the high moments. People don't talk about the crap we lost everything moments that can come with that because there's always huge risk involved. So the fact that my wife had lived through that before like I ever even really knew entrepreneurship was has definitely been a huge benefit. But it's not without stresses. Trust me, there's a lot of nights that I wrap out and we put the kids to bed and there's definitely tension in the household because, you know, we're behind on things or this or that. And we're not sure where the paycheck's coming from or there's definitely nights where she'd rather not talk to me or whether I had a really missing that stable 40-hour a week IT job that used to pay the bills at $85,000 a year with very predictable schedules and time off. And there are times she misses that. But, you know, God's honest truth, there are times I miss that. So most time we do okay. We definitely have moments where we have to stop and re-sync up because there are moments I reach over and grab her hand. And it's like, all right, are we still on the same page? Do I need to switch gears again? Do I need to find a different direction? Because when you go on that entrepreneurship journey, like you're asking a lot of your spouse. Like you're always asking a lot of your spouse, but you're asking a lot of faith, a lot of trust in your spouse to take that journey with you. Because anybody who's done it knows that there's no security there.
Tell me about it.
I echo what Brent's talking about, man. And you took the words out of my mouth. I was sitting here waiting to just be like all gas, no brakes. And then you said it, you. I'm like, that's always been me. And it's funny because as your question about, you know, how his wife felt about it, right? Like my wife's like, man, everything doesn't have to be urgent. Everything doesn't have to be intense. And I'm like, yes, it does. Like it does. Everything is important. Everything is like, you know, everything's a step away from being crisis. So I have to deal with it now. And so settling's never really been a thing for me. I can say kind of comically, right? Settling, like I'll settle for a pepperoni pizza if they don't have sausage. That's about the settling that I do. Right? Aside from that, man, it's go for the gusto. I don't know what it is. I'm just wired that way.
All right, I'll throw it out there, man.
I love it.
Yeah,
Go ahead, man.
I definitely was. I was settling. Yeah, I don't mind saying it. I'm not
I
anymore,
respect you
but
for saying it, man. I love it.
I was,
I respect
and
it.
I wasn't that way when I was younger. I mean, I started a whole bunch of businesses. I was that guy, just like you two are talking about right now. And yeah, I hit a point somewhere around, I think it was around COVID, where it was like, okay, I took the job being a bread guy, driving the truck, bringing bread to the stores. I was part of the supply chain. Nobody could touch me. I wasn't going to lose my job. We were getting overtime everywhere. And it was like, pretty decent money, but I was working 75 hours a week. Right. And I just said, you know what? This is fine. This is enough. My kids are fed. They have what they need. My wife's okay. The house is all right. And I was unhappy as all get out, but it didn't matter because it was just about taking care of the stuff. Then I reach a point where, my kids are grown and gone. And, my wife and I are empty nesters. And I'm looking around going, I don't have to kill myself like this anymore. I can actually go do something. But I was so ingrained in needing that paycheck that I was scared to death all of a sudden to walk away from it. I'm like, man, 20 years ago, I wouldn't have been scared to death. What am I doing?
Yeah.
And so I was settling, man. And then I almost died. And
That
had
right
a lot
there.
of talks with my wife and God and everything else, and went, you know what? There is no time to settle anymore. And man, when I came out of that hospital, I was like, we got to do something. And my wife's like, you do what you got to do. Let's go. That's that.
It's a good woman right
And
there.
I haven't looked back since, man. And I'm not settling anymore. I'm working so many hours right now and loving every minute of it. I was sitting here last night at 2 a.m. trying to record a Power Man podcast solo, and I'm going, and I fell asleep in the middle of the episode. I woke up, Zoom's still recording, and I'm like, wow, time to call it a night. Okay. I watched it
that
back
was
a couple
not
times this
released.
morning. No, that one got deleted. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah, I bet.
hilarious.
I bet. Probably get 1 million followers because of that one.
I was gonna say, you got to post that one right there, bro. People
Got
like
to.
I
weird.
should,
They
actually.
watch
I
people
should have.
sleep.
Can't tell what folks like, man. It's so hard to understand people. They love that, but your hard work, they don't have time for it. I don't get it, but it is what it is, man. One of the things, man, I just feel like the settling is a word that I'm hearing you guys, and I hear what you're saying. What do you think it looks like when a man quits? I'm asking that because sometimes, and this is just a general statement, not about our panel or anything, or anybody in the roundtable family. This is just a general statement from what I've been seeing. We trick ourselves into thinking that we're still going when we're really not going. You get what I'm saying? We're active, but we're not doing anything. You get what I'm saying? We're moving, but we're not productive. We're moving, but we're not effective.
Yeah.
What do you think it looks like? And I want you to say this with the viewers and listeners in mind, even though it's not live. Sorry about that again. But with the viewers and listeners in mind, what's it look like when a man quits? What are some of the key indicators for you? Give me 2 or 3 indicators from each of you guys. What it looks like when a man quits. Because I want them to hear. So just in case they in their mind they're thinking, "Oh, I'm good." I'm not. Yeah, you are, and we're here to help you not do that. So, what's it like for a man to quit? Give me a 1 or 2 or 3 characteristics that you notice that let you know this man is quit. Go ahead.
Well, I could jump on that one too. I watched a man quit. He was my dad, and so I know exactly what it looks like.
Okay.
But I made peace with that a long time ago. And when you literally are, if you can't be great, then why try? Is kind of like what I was getting from him at that time. He couldn't live his dream out, and he had no responsibility to anybody else. But the the issue for me isn't my dad anymore. Sorry, guys, pardon me. The issue for me now is I see it on the daily with people. I watch people who are either working on writing a book, or they're working on doing a podcast, or they're working on doing their YouTube channel, or they're working on whatever their content creation, right? And they're talking about how it's a business, and they're talking about how I'm doing this, I'm putting in my time, I'm building something. All they're doing is being busy. All they're doing is putting a whole bunch of hours into their hobby, because when the time comes to actually put up or shut up and actually do something or take a risk, try and monetize something, they disappear and they go hide.
Yeah, we gonna get there because
All I'm saying,
like we have to.
All I'm saying, okay,
we have to.
I see it everywhere. I see people who literally are online calling themselves, a podcaster, a content creator, whatever it is, and they're not trying to do anything with it. It literally is just a hobby. Hey, you know what? If that's your hobby, that's great. But don't tell me that it's your business. Don't tell your wife it's your business. If it's your hobby, then there's an appropriate time to spend on it. Don't tell me you're spending 50 hours a week on this like it's a job and you haven't tried one time to make any money at it. No. It's just, we're fooling ourselves at some point. And I'm using those because I see those every day, but you can put this in any context with all sorts of stuff, with all sorts of other professions. And I think right now, because we can create our reality so easily, we can be whoever we want to be online. We can be whoever we want to be on our show. We can create whatever content we want people to see, right? So because we can do that, we feel like we can just say whatever we want to say. If you haven't made a dime, you're not running a business. Sorry. That's just that.
My toes. Ouch.
I'm done. All right. But anyway, so that's my thing. End of rant. Love you guys.
Fortunately, before anybody else jumps in, fortunately, there's some things that I'm doing with the podcast that allow me to get a little something coming in, commissions wise and stuff. But I still felt the pain of that.
Let me be clear. Let me be clear, because I'm actually not talking to anybody who's here on this show right now.
Fair.
Okay. Yeah.
Fair.
And I'm going to leave that there.
Fair. I'm going to pick it back up before the show's over, so it doesn't make a difference where you leave it at. I'm bringing it back because we got to promote the awesome thing that you're doing, and we're going to talk about that at the end of the show. And I'm going to have some commentary because I got to. Sorry. If you decide to leave me, then leave. But I got to do this. I ain't got no choice. I got to. Anyways, got to. But to me, BD, DL, when a guy quits, what are the characteristics? What do you see?
I got to tell in a little bit onto Rory's comment about the podcasting thing. I honestly will, in my opinion, I think a lot of the people who get into content creation trying to make a business, just honest to God, have no idea what a business is. Like that was my case for the first several years of my podcast. I was making content and I was trying to make it a business, but I had no idea what I was offering. Right? If you don't have some kind of offer, you don't have a business. I didn't know I needed an offer. I didn't know I was supposed to be offering anything. I thought I get a lot of viewers. I get some advertising dollars. It's radio, right? That's the way it works, right? So I think a lot of guys into our people in general who get in content creation, just truly like the best way to learn about business is to fail at it miserably for years. And I was great at that. I did seriously, I had years of just tanking it because I just didn't understand. I had no business experience. I didn't know anything about business. Right. And I think that is actually what a lot of guys fall into is they don't know enough about business to know they're not actually doing a business. Now that's my idea because that was my case. Like I had no idea for years. I was like, I'm doing the thing, right? I just create content. That's how it works. No idea, no business sense at all. Read business books in one ear and out the other, like nothing. So I think that is like ignorance because they don't teach you business, right? Now that's my 2 cents on that. I think guys quit when they get quiet, right? Because there are quiet men, but men who are normally not as quiet, men who are like in a relationship, more affectionate, right? Men who are constantly holding their wife's hands or putting their hand on their back or whatever, on their knee, right? When guys quit in a relationship, they start to distance themselves. The physical interaction stops happening and they stop communicating. They get quiet. It's not just verbally quiet. They get physically quiet. Guys just start creating a distance between anything when they quit. We emotionally shut down entirely. It's like we've well established on the show. We have emotions. We just don't express them the same way a lot of women would like us to, or in a way that necessarily that women communicate and understand really well. But we have those emotions. We are experiencing them. And men get quiet. We get solitary. We separate ourselves when we actually quit on something. Whether that's quitting on your job, on your relationship, on something else, men create mental and emotional distance. We just shut down. We might go through the motion, but we're not actually doing it. We're just doing what we're required to do at that point. And that is a huge red flag, is when men start to detach.
Yeah. Huge. Thank you, BD. DL, you got something?
Yeah, man. It's I mean, I like that distance, the silence, the isolation part. I've also seen people get more quickly frustrated. And that's obviously like an outward expression of how they feel on the inside. Like I know the times when I've wanted to quit, I would be frustrated with myself. I've seen it in other people. And then there's this loss of, almost like a loss of light, if that makes any sense. Like
it does make sense.
Where you just see them doing like the bare minimum. Spice of life is gone. There's no interest in wanting to improve or progress. And you see it time and time. It's almost like what's that show? Like The Walking Dead, right? You know what I mean? Like they're there, they're taking up space, they're moving. I even think about like how you were talking about busyness, right? You ever see somebody who really didn't know what they were doing at something, so they just moved a bunch, but there was no production at all? Like
back in my government job when I was supervising.
Yeah. I feel like that's what it is. Like a person thinks that they move a lot, right? But I feel like people that have quit will also do that too, because oftentimes we don't want people to know that we've quit, right? Like we're men, we're supposed to have it all figured out and have it together, right? And so for the one out there who's quit and doesn't want people to know it, they're going to make themselves look like it. I'm going to go Bible on you guys again, right? It's like having a semblance of godliness, right? Where it's like, hey, Lord, I've casted out demons in your name. And he's like, but I have not known you, right? That's to me a biblical parallel to what it looks like when a person quits. It's like, well, I was doing all these things, but you didn't put anything into that. You had no interest in seeing it succeed. You weren't giving it your all, right? You were there, you were taking up space, but you quit and it was evident.
Yeah.
I sat on my pew every Sunday.
Check.
I'm using an analogy that I think men that are watching this, it's undeniable for you. You ain't getting around it. That's sports. And you guys talk about it on your social media timelines or in your tweets, especially when the season for your favorite team is going, and you're watching people dog it around first base, or dog it after a fly ball, or dogging it on one of the I'm blanking out on the name of the route. Oh, yeah. Anyway, running the straight route, I guess the X receiver, and we talked about that kind of stuff. They're still at practice. They're still on the team. They're still in all the meetings, but somewhere in here, they've already quit. They're already thinking about the next contract. They're already thinking about, will they be on this team? Where can they tell the agents they want to be at to kind of prime the pump, if you will? But they've already quit. So I love all you guys' examples. We see that kind of stuff all the time. People are just active. Like I said, on my old government job when I was supervising there, which is a double nightmare, people were dogging it every day, walking around with files and kicks wasn't doing no work. The work never got done. I never seen the result on my desk of the work, but they were always moving around in different cubicles, talking to people. I'm like, when did the work stuff happen? Because we're still behind. We got a deadline, and bro, you helping us not make it. So it's like you could be doing something, being active, talking to all you guys that are watching, listening today. If you think you're active and you're productive just because you're active, you're missing it. These guys just get examples of what it looks like to quit, and that could be in that same spot. I love the topic that we started off in the month of March with, because even if women don't want to admit it anymore because it's 2026, maybe they don't feel the same way. Maybe they want somebody softer and more tender. The people who are in that John Wayne era, you know, that big rifleman era, they wanted the strong, silent type. That's what they said, right? But now men are quiet. And men, they're still going to the gym, still going to Planet Fitness or Crunch, or goals, so they are strong, theoretically, right? They're working on a car in the garage every Friday night, all the way through Sunday, staying in the garage, got a bud or whatever they're doing, and they're working on the car, so they're strong, but they're silent, not saying anything, and the women are frustrated with this. So what is this strong silent type thing is kind of have a shelf life on it, I guess, huh? And it expired for a lot of people already. Now people don't want strong and silent anymore. I'm like, so what? So what's the alternative now? What would you rather have? Loud and weak? What are we asking for? So you can comment about the strong and silent type. That's just a commentary out of my brain, out of the wild mind of Mr. U. You don't have to comment if you don't want to. We'll move right on to the next question. But if you want to talk about the strong and silent type, by all means, the floor is yours. You can have some. I've already eaten a bit, so you know I can go down alone or go down with my brothers. It's really up to you. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, this was a huge influence on my life. Now I'm not exactly the silent type, but I grew up a preacher's kid. Talking is, I'm a podcaster. It's kind of what I do, right? It's getting me to shut up is the trick. But I mean, that was a huge influence in my life. We were talking earlier about those, you know, TV and movie ideals that rubbed off, right? All of them I watched, right? That was Stallone, that was Schwarzenegger, that was Bruce Willis, that was John Wayne, that was Clint Eastwood. Those were all these guys, Lee Marvin, right? That I was like, hell yeah, that's the way I'm gonna be, man. I want to be handy, I want to be strong, I want to be capable, I'm gonna work hard. Like my work ethic is one of my better qualities. And it's from that generation of this is what I watched, right? I saw hard workers. And then my first job was on a cattle ranch, and talk about working hard, right? You don't have poor work ethic if you work on a farm. It don't work like that. But, so, you know, there was that silent type, but that silent type commanded respect. My father-in-law, like when I met him, like we were awkward, right? When I first got with my wife, because my father-in-law is one of those men that don't talk unless there is something to say. Now, when he opens his mouth, everybody shuts up and listens, because if that man is going to say something, it's probably worth hearing. Like he's that dude. Wow. But it was this ultimate, like growing up a preacher's kid and being in youth ministry and all this stuff. Like me and him, like I'm feeling awkward conversation and I'm like, blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, I can just see, like I can hear it burning in his head. He's like, does he ever shut up? Right. But he grew up with that very influence. The guy worked 80, 90 hours a week every day of his life that I've known him. My father-in-law is retired, and he still works more than a lot of millennials and Gen Z or Gen, whatever they are, right? Millennials and Gen Z. Like the man is retired.
I don't know what the outfit is, but that we're on right now. I don't know.
In retirement, he still works more than most average Americans at this point.
Oh, goodness.
He doesn't know how to not work at this point. And he's much better at conversation now than he used to be, but he's still that, like, he doesn't waste words. And the amount of respect I have for that man, and have from day one, we have not always seen eye to eye. We have butted heads, but I have always had the deepest respect for that man, because he worked every day, 7 days a week for his family. He did side jobs on the weekend, 7 days a week to take care of his family. And when he talked, it was something that should be said. So there is a lot to be said for that. I think women just can't make up their mind. Like, I'm not trying to kick you ladies. I live in a world of women. Okay. I got 4 women in my house right now. I live surrounded by women, but honestly,
twice if you need help.
Huh?
Blink twice if you need help.
Yeah, they make it to me later. This isn't live, so we'll be like, no,
I'm not cutting that out. So go ahead.
Women in general know what they want, right? Because they're going through their own journey as it is, right? We've seen the waves of feminism. We've seen the waves of culture selling women. Hey, you should be a boss babe. You should be a CEO and high powered and blah, blah, blah. Walk away from the mom life. And then we've seen, no, you should be a stay-at-home mom. Women have been on this emotional roller coaster, not knowing what they want to achieve, but what they want from us has changed and pivoted because of where they are on their journey. So it's not they don't know what they want. They can't know what they want because they're not sure where they're fitting on this journey they're on yet. And where they land matters with how we interact with that.
Stuff, man. Anybody else want to chime in real quick?
DL doesn't want to be killed later.
I want to be married after this, guys.
Leave it on me, yeah. That's all I need.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I find myself in agreement with Brent. Like, how can you know what you want in another person if you don't know what you want for yourself, right? If you're listening to the external influences all over the place, culture says this thing, society says that thing, family says another thing, right? And all the while you want to try to tell the opposite sex, whose anatomy is completely different than yours, how you want them to be. I find that kind of interesting.
Hilarious.
I mean, funny, hilarious, comical.
Hilarious.
Because at the end of the day, just like I have preferences, right? There are things that I would like for my wife to be, right? There are certain ways that I would like for her to behave, right? But at the end of the day, that's from a man's perspective, right? Because that's how a man should be. But I didn't marry a man, right? And so I think it's on the same end, right? Like, women tend to want men to be talkative because women are talkative. Women tend to want men to display their emotion a certain way because that's how they communicate, right? Then it's like their love languages. Women tend to like the physical touch and the words of affirmation and all these different things, right? All of this sociological, I'm going to call it jambalaya. But at the end of the day, I mean, we're two anatomically different creatures, right? So, ladies, if you got a man that's not wanting to be talkative, it's not live, but you're going to be seeing this. It's probably not going to be the easiest road for you to take. Might be easier to find out how your man wants to communicate, or if he does. But yeah, my 2 cents on it, man. Women are not men, but they want to understand men, and the only way that they can try to dive into that is how they would with their girlfriends, with other women.
If you'd be so kind as to promote this show on your timelines, by all means, if you do me a favor and just tag me every time you do that. Won't be too many tags. You can do it 16 times. It won't be too much for me. I just want to see. I want to be around for the reaction. Just tag me in so I can just see what's happening. Because I'm gonna do it too. But please, just tag me in it because this is going to be fantastic.
I gotta kick in on what DL just said. We're not just anatomically different; we're neurologically and emotionally different, and that's very important in this conversation. Neurologically and emotionally, we often dismiss. We admit the emotionally thing. We often skip the neurological thing. Our brains are actually wired different. That matters.
That matters. RP, go ahead.
Oh, I'll keep it simple. I appreciate what all you guys are saying. There's a little bit of a generational gap, I think, with me and DL, because he's a very aware young man, and I appreciate that, man. Nothing but respect for you, brother. My only disagreement is I don't really think that women want to understand men the way they are. I think they want us to conform to what they want. I also think that, and I don't care if this gets shared, man. So, I also think that the basic needs haven't changed. I just think that nobody wants to talk about them anymore. I think that a woman wants to feel protected. I think she wants to feel safe. I think she wants her man to step up. And I think that, while she does want to communicate with her man, She does not want him to be an emotional mess. And that's just one of the things that basically I believe in, that I teach in my courses, that I teach to my guys is, you know what, a big tenet of Power Man podcast and our group is never let them see you weak. That's it. Okay. If you got to show weakness, you do it with brothers who have your back, who get why you're weak and what's going on. That's that. But your wife does not want you to sit there and cry to her about how you're worried about keeping the electric bill paid. She doesn't want to hear that. She wants you to pay it and get it done. And that's it. So I think that women, if they were to admit any of that stuff, I think that then they're going to be shunned, by society, and they're going to be canceled and they're going to be thrown out the window. But at the end of the day, that's what they want. And I think that if a guy gives them that, I think you're 90% of the way home. Let your woman be safe. Do your job. Put your head down and go to work. Okay. And if you're not doing those things, then I don't want to hear about your feelings. That's it. I'm done.
When did the t-shirts get made?
Oh my goodness.
When did the t-shirts come out? Get that on it. When did that happen? Put your head down and go to work.
Yeah.
Because I'll definitely wear those t-shirts with pleasure. All right. So we probably won't hang out as long as we normally do. We'll give you guys some extra free time to do all the posting you got to do tonight because I can't wait. Oh, wow, this is beautiful. I love it. All right. So finish this is our sentence for me. I got the last, it's rising up to me. Real men don't blank. And then tell us who taught you that. Real men don't blank. And then tell us who taught you that.
True. Sylvester Stallone. There you go.
Real men don't what?
Real men don't true?
No, real men. Oh, blank. I thought you said real men don't blink.
No.
Oh.
We have to blink or we're not alive. We're like The Walking Dead, like DL was talking about.
That's when you quit.
Blink.
That's only when you quit.
I don't want to put nothing in the blank for you. I want you to fill in the blank. Real men don't. And then tell us who taught you that.
I like what DL said. Real men don't quit.
Real men don't quit. Who taught you that, DL?
I don't know, man.
Don't say John Wayne, because you wouldn't allow for that.
Life, right? I mean, at the end of the day, it had to be life, right? Because it's for me, right? I know that at the end of the day, just as it was at the beginning, it's going to start and end with me, right? If I quit, what does that do? If there are people depending on me, what does that do? If there are people that look to me in admiration or for whatever reason, right, as an example to model after, people that I might be discipling, right? What does that do?
Definitely.
Real men don't quit. I would also even add one more blank there. Real men don't compare. Right? Like if you're a man and you're firm and strong in who you are, it doesn't matter what the next person's doing. Doesn't matter if they're exceeding you. None of that matters. There's no measure, right? But I think it all boils down to the quitting, man. Real men don't quit.
I love to compare. Who taught you that one? That's great. I never heard of it.
That's, man, I just think about, again, life, man. You think about all of the different stressors. Like, you guys know some of the things that I've been through in my life, man. Like, I've had quite the rocky road. And when I would look to the person who didn't have lack, right, I would find myself stressing, right? When I look to the person that did lack where I might not have, right, I would find myself missing something. You know what I mean? Like I would overlook something because I was focused on another person's situation. So yeah, no comparison, no quit.
I love it. All right. DL, RP, how about you? Me. DB. Awesome. Real men don't quit.
I think that's it. Honestly, real men don't quit, brother. Real men do not quit. I do believe that real men don't cry. I mean, I know everybody's going to make fun of that and they're going to die and, throw me back into the dark ages, but it's about when it happens. You know what I mean? Real men don't break down in front of the people who are dependent on them. You know what I mean? I mean, if you got to cry, you go to the car, you go to the garage, you get with your brothers, you do it there. But man, you don't break down in front of the people who are depending on you. All you're doing is causing panic and letting them know that they can't count on you. I'm sorry. I still think that applies.
No,
So,
okay, it's fine. Let me jump over here real quick before Brent shares his, because I'm struggling to find an instance where men have done that I've seen. I think that they were kind of told that the idea where they couldn't even cry like around their dad in an enclosed place with just the two of them. They weren't allowed to do it, and they learned that from little children. I mean, I don't know anybody who's cried in front of the whole family at Thanksgiving. You know what? Can't pay the bills up. I don't know anybody that's done that. I think it's just the idea they've been taught from young that you don't do it. Period. That's what the problem is, because all that stuff turns into the gallstones, but emotional gallstones, if you will, and it just hardens inside of you, and it's the mother to try to get them out. You know what I'm saying? That's what ends up happening when you don't not in tune with your emotions. So breaking down in front of the family and stuff, I'm totally against that. I'm not doing that stuff. I'm having a problem paying the bills, and I've had problem paying bills before. Ain't the first time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be like, or even call my mother and do that. I'm not doing any such thing. You know what I'm saying? But I think the idea is that young boys were, especially in those days we talked about with John Wayne and stuff, that was kind of one of the unwritten themes, if you will, the underlying themes. You gotta be hard, cracking whips and whatnot. So you can't cry. Can't go out there and kill them engines. I mean, that's what we're talking about. So that part I got a problem with, but not what you're talking about. Not breaking down in front of the folks that depend on you. I'm with you on that. I'm wholeheartedly with you on that one. I don't care if you're in front of a class of mentees. If a tear falls down because of something you're sharing that's impactful, I'm not going to judge you. But if you pass out, red face on the ground, knock the podium over, I'm like, dude, we got to spend the rest of this conference getting you back up and getting you enough tissue so that you can be yourself again. That's the problem. It's about placement and location, and it's about frequency. Does that make sense? Am I helping there?
Yeah.
Okay. Brent, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was enjoying that conversation just well. No, I was bouncing around in my head trying to, like, if I say that's just another way of saying real men don't quit. Real men, right? I will say real men don't stay down. Right. And I think the first time I heard a Rocky quote, right, from Sylvester Stallone, but that was driven into me back in wrestling in 6th grade, because we would train in the down position and our partners would knock us down and we have to get back up, and then we'd start over and knock us down like 15 minutes at a time, solid, because my coach wanted us so conditioned to never quit on the bottom that we could outlast any. We never got pinned on that team. None of our guys, we lost by points. We never actually lost a match by getting pinned ever on that team. And it was because our coach drilled us to get back up, no matter how exhausted we were or how tired we were, how beat up we were. It didn't matter. Real men don't stay down. You cannot avoid getting knocked down. Life is going to knock you on your ass. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen again.
I got to put an E label on this show now, so thank you.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
My bad.
Go ahead. I got to put the E on there now, so thanks a lot for that.
Knocked down and knocked down and knocked down and knocked down. Now you have to have at least 2 F-bombs or 3 swear words before you put the E on it.
Yeah, not these people.
But,
you're going to I got to put an E on there.
Over and over and over again.
Dad, burn it.
Real men get back up. They don't ever.
I love that, man.
Don't ever.
Love that.
And the other caveat I'd throw on there is real men don't ever victimize someone weaker than them.
Ooh.
There is not now, or I have been punched in the face by chicks before. I blocked it. I pushed them away. I've never hit them back because I was raised with a Southern household. You didn't hit girls. You could push them away. You could protect yourself. You didn't hit girls. But I was raised by a man who was 6'5", 350 pounds. And he made it utterly clear there is never a justification for a man to victimize or pick on somebody weaker than they are. Ever.
Mic drop.
I just saw a video recently. I'm like, wow, I wonder if you saw it too.
Nope.
Oh boy, I don't know if I want to touch that. I'm going to say that one for another week. I don't know where to go with that. So there's never
not to victimize somebody.
Not victimize. That's not my word.
That's what I said. There's never a justification for a man to victimize somebody who is weaker than they are, whether that is emotionally or
I agree with that.
Elderly. Yeah. There's never a just cause.
Right. Phrased that way, I agree with that.
Right.
The phrasing is very, very specific. Thank you, sir. I'm going to ask one final question. This is just something for us to provoke thought, because I love, even in coaching, I love to make sure that we have measurable goals and we're able to kind of see some tangible growth and movement. So I'm going to ask a question that I'm going to hand a portion of the show over to our brother so he can make one more announcement before we close the broadcast out tonight. But just a theoretical question, and you guys that are watching, when you're watching and listening, you can chime in here. If the show ended for good, if the men's roundtable series ended for good, it's not foreboding, it's not a harbinger of things to come. It's just a question. If the show ended for good, what tangibles do you believe you took out of this that you can put into action? Because for me, I think about this on a weekly basis. Everybody probably doesn't do that. Maybe it's every month. Maybe it's bi-monthly. I think about this every week. Did I learn something? Because time is short for many people, and we don't know how much time we're working with. We can't talk about 2028. We don't know what we got. We don't know how much grace we're working off of. So for me, I try to make sure I do regular check-ins to make sure I'm in the right spot, still tracking well, heading in the right direction, still aligned with my values. So when I think about this show, I'm like, okay, how am I growing? I'm watching you guys grow. I'm watching people who are in our chat grow, other panelists that are on with us. I hear from them. They tell me, oh, check out what happened this week, Mr. Yu. I hear what's happening. I get regular reports from people sometimes. And I want more. I think it's fantastic. Please send me more stories about how you're growing. I gotta make sure I'm growing too. So this question is for all of us. If this show ended for good right now, what tangibles have you taken from this that you can put into action in your own life? Legit, tangible takeaways for yourself personally.
I'll jump on that because it was pretty. There was one really that hit me hard. I don't have a ride or die, man. You know, I don't have that friend, you know, that you call at 3 o'clock in the morning. Really never have. And I always thought it was okay to not have. And we had a really good discussion around that here. And that stood out to me hard. I had talked to my wife about that actually for a while because I've always just kind of not worried about that and said, hey, I'll live without it and I'll be the ride or die for somebody else. Since then, though, you need that. You know, and when you're being that for somebody else, you got to recognize that at some point you do need that. And so, I mean, I did kind of take that and, you know, reach out a little bit and start trying to change that.
Yeah.
And that was huge for me, man. I mean,
yeah.
You guys know me.
I know.
Changing anything is huge.
That's powerful. We could drop the mic on that part. That's amazing, man.
But I want to thank you guys for that because when I first commented on it, I was like, the heck you guys talking about? You know, and I honestly changed my mind on that one afterward. That was big.
I love that, man. That is big, man. Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
All right.
I think the major thing for me is the importance of these types of things, the importance of community, and not just any community, but like a community of other men, right? I'm reminded of I've been invited to like multiple different gatherings, right? Hey man, let's do this. Get all the fellas together. Hey man, let's do this. Bunch of guys, right? And at those moments, I was very fresh off of, dude, I just did years in prison surrounded by nothing but dudes. Like, I'm good, right? Like, I am good, right? But a tangible I can take away from this is seeing how important that is, despite how I feel, right? Almost like this comment in here, forget your feelings, but like telling myself that, right? Like, it doesn't matter how I feel if there's a group of people that might gain from me being there, right? From me joining in that community. I got a phone call earlier about one of my clients who I found out was on the brink of a psychotic breakdown.
Oh wow.
And sat and talked with me. And one of my coworkers called me, another case manager, right? Called me and said, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, like they were this close, but they said the second they sat down with you and began to talk, all of that went away." Right. And so it's like being present within the grouping of people. Like we just never know. We never know what a person's going through. Like that's obvious, right? Unless they speak on it. But what we learned here is men oftentimes don't speak on it. So yeah, forget my feelings is a tangible I take away courtesy of Mr. Brent, even though it's not in that context. I salute you, brother.
Oh my God. Go ahead, Brent, you're up next, brother. Go ahead.
You guys in the audience miss our private chat. It's not easy for everybody, for sure.
They're not ready for this, so
that's a whole nother show and platform. I gotta sit in with DL on this one. I've known for a long time that being around other guys is good, and it's something I have to actively work on in my life because it is not something I do. I am a workhorse. We all know, I've said it before, I start stupidly early and I go 17-hour days, 7 days a week. And that is because of everything I'm trying to do and making sure I still have time to spend with my family, right? Trying to get all that in one day. Right now I'm training my daughter and one of our friends. So I'm training 2 girls in strongman training in the middle of my day on top of other stuff. I have a background in personal training, by the way.
That's not it. The strongman part of where I'm like, huh?
Oh yeah, I got a whole strongman set up in my backyard, man. Logs, tires, all of it. But
all right.
But I'm proud of my girls, man. They overhead press.
I ain't judging you, man. I'm just surprised.
But
so keep going, man.
I am so surrounded by women most of the time. I live with 4 women in my household all the time. Most of the people in my life are female. I have very few males actively in my life. I've tried to get more involved since we started doing this with men's groups. I had one group I was going to. I kind of ended up driven out of that. Conflicts inside of the group. It just, there was some oil and water and it just wasn't going well. So I had to part ways to gracefully while I could because it was escalating. So I kind of lost that group, but it was one of 2 groups I had tried to get involved in. And I look forward to these conversations, man. I look forward to talking to you guys every week. Getting to know the men who have been on here has just been a huge blessing in my life. Getting to know each one of you and talk to you guys. I love the fact that we can disagree. I love the fact that we don't all have the same exact opinion and that we can sit here as men and have a real conversation about it has been so valuable to me that if we were to lose that would be rough. I would have to work even harder to try and restore the group I lost because I am learning I need this. Like, I am better with this in my life. I am better with you guys in my life, these conversations, but I'm better with a solid group of men, a positive group of men around me, because I will grind myself to death, pick myself back up and go some more and grind myself to death and grind myself to death and never think twice about it, because that's what I do. That's who I am. And so because I identify that way, because that's the way I've always lived my life, I had taken for granted when I have had groups like this of other men in my life that were positive. I don't always acknowledge it, but I miss having those groups. I hated leaving that one group. And I don't know that I could go back to not having a positive group of men around me that I can connect with and communicate with, who make me better and lift me up. And I hopefully do the same thing for them. I'm missing I used to live stream on my own years ago. I've never liked live streams. I love our live streams. Dude, I love our comment section. I'm missing it tonight.
Me too, man. Me too.
I love reading all the comments from our community.
Yeah,
I miss it too, man. It's such a simple little faux pas, but I was so busy talking, I didn't even catch it.
I wasn't trying to rag on you, bro. Just that I do.
No, it's all good, man. I miss it. I miss it too, man. And what you guys shared, man. I mean, I feel like Rory was a week ago. I'm like, ooh, that one hit me in the feels. But real talk, man. For me, I'm learning. I think all things you named, I totally resonate with. I would answer it the same way. But I also add to that, that I didn't always embrace community with other men. I'm like, man, I didn't feel like going through the drama or sitting there watching people grumble and grunt. I mean, because I love shoot like the next person. I want to be in a group where that's all we talk about. Come on. I mean, even if you don't hunt and fish, you want to hear, you want to hear content. You want to hear well-rounded stuff, because we're more complex than that, but we're also more viable than what people think we are. And that's why this show had to be here. This show had to be put out here because people got the wrong impression about us, and it's not true. And we just can't allow it to stand. I refuse to allow it to stand. If I hear it in my circles, I'm stopping it with a big old combat boot. I'm not having it. That's not who we are. I'm not like that. RP's not like that. DL's not like that. BD's not like that either. It's not true. We have layers. There's more to it than what's on the surface. You got to dig a little deeper if you want to find out what that is. That's on you. It's not our problem. It's your problem. So I need this group. I need this podcast myself. I grow from it. Quiet as kept. My wife loves this show, and she loves y'all. She's gonna see it when it goes out to social media in a little bit, but she loves y'all. She loved this show. She thinks it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and it's not because of me. It's because of what's happening through this. So thank y'all for doing what you do and being a part of this.
You said that in the right tense. You have to say that in the right tense. She loved this show, and then she's going to see my comments tonight, and she's like, "You got to get rid of that guy." Out.
She's heard everything you ever said, and she never thought that one time. I think you're safe, sir. But RP, I want to give you the floor to kind of make your announcement real quick, and then we'll close the broadcast out so we can all get to promoting, getting this show out here, and getting some comments going in the comment section, because some combos in the comment section, because we sure need to do that to make up for what we missed tonight. So I missed the live stream too, brother. Now I know, but I know I can't trust StreamYard in this regard, so I got to fix this time. We good. RP, go ahead.
Right on. Appreciate it, man. We've been talking about it for a few weeks, and the day is finally here, guys. So we have 48 hours until the event. Saturday, we're doing the monetization seminar, and we're going to put out new ideas. We're going to talk about how to actually get started making some money. We're going to talk about some basic stuff and some very different stuff. The one thing I'll tell everybody before I get into all the nitty gritty is nothing that I'm going to talk about is something that I haven't done myself or am doing myself right now. So when I say, yes, this does work, I've actually used it. Okay. It's not conjecture. I'm not sitting here going, well, this sounds great. Try this. No, that's crap. So we don't do that. It's all actionable stuff. And, hey, you don't want to let someone who is fat tell you how to lose weight, guys. Don't let somebody who doesn't have 10 podcasts tell you how to make money podcasting. All right. So Saturday, 10 o'clock Eastern time, we get started. 12:30 is about when it's going to end in terms of the instructional part. And then we're going to be there for Q&A for anybody who signs up for it. And we'll talk about their own particular business. We will knock it out. If you can't make that time, I am going to leave it open for several days after that. Okay. So we have a lot of folks who are signed up and can't make that time, but they're going to be watching it, Sunday or Monday or even Tuesday. So, still has value. If you can't make the live, the info will still be there. All right. $199 one time. And there's no link. All right. Don't ask me for a link. There's no link on purpose. Okay. And we're going to talk about that during the seminar. So if you want to know why we're doing this the Amish way, all right, then show up on Saturday. I'll tell you all exactly why. We're making a point. All right. Love you guys. I hope we see everybody there. And to those of you who are listening to this who have already signed up, thank you. I'm looking forward to seeing you. To those of you who have not, your loss. Not doing this again. Good luck.
And just to add to that, thank you, RP. And just to add to that, when I say I'm hearing from you guys about monetization and how this is a frustration for you, male and female alike, I hear from you guys that are podcasters, content creators. I've been listening to you, I think, with much grace. I don't judge and I don't attack. But after Saturday, if you come my way with that nonsense again, here's what you're going to hear. Did you not hear the multiple announcements graced by our brother RP? Did you not hear him preaching about podcast monetization? Did you not hear him talk about monetizing your content? Did you not hear him offer a very gracious offer that's probably eight times less than what he would normally charge for it? And you dare come complain to me? For all you guys that are watching that are, you're not monetized and you need to. If you're waiting for a great opportunity, I don't know what it looks like. Does it have gold wings and come with fairy dust? What are you waiting for? This is the best thing I've heard since I started podcasting, and that's 5 years. No, we're in year 6 now. Almost in year 6. Come on, y'all. RP's going to be promoting this some more between now and Saturday. I will as well. I'm sure the guys here will be doing the same thing. Take advantage of it and stop complaining to Mr. You. You got nobody to blame but yourself. All right? This is a great opportunity. Take advantage of it. It don't get no better or cheaper. Men's Roundtable Series podcast. I am Mr. U. That's RP. That's BD. That's DL. And we're here to stay. Fathers, husbands, brothers, and sons, and warriors.